ओम साई राम, ओम साई राम, ओम साई राम। श्री सच्चिदानंद सदगुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय। श्री सच्चिदानंद सदगुरु साई करुणानंद महाराज की जय। श्री सच्चिदानंद सदगुरु जगत गुरु बाल युगराज साई नारायण महाराज की जय। साई लीलावती माता की जय। श्री साई बाबा ऑफ शिरडी, written by Rao Bahadur, Morishwar, Vishwanath Pradhan. Day 4. Devotees from all over India steadily began to pour over into Shirdi, and three such utsavas were celebrated in Shirdi during Sai Baba's time. First, the Ram Navami Utsava, second, the Guru Purnima Utsava, third, the Gokulashtami Utsava, and to these were added the fourth Utsava after Sai Baba's Samadhi on the Vijayadashmi or Dashera day in 1918. Namely, the Punyatithi Utsava on the annual Dashera day, the Shri Shirdi Sansthan Committee of Sai Baba, which has been entrusted with carrying out the scheme for the maintenance of Shri Sai Baba Shirdi Sansthan, sanctioned by the District Court of Ahmednagar, has, after mutual deliberation, intercy, entrusted the management of the Ramanavami Utsav to Hari Bhakta Parayana Das Ganu Maharaj, the well-known modern poet and Kirtankar, who has been attending to it with great zeal and energy worthy of admiration. The second Utsava fell to a lot of the late Gopal Mukund alias Babu Sahib Booty, the well-known millionaire of Nagpur CP, whose magnificent edifice of his black stone, costing over ₹1,00,000, is now the Samadhi shrine of Shri Sai Baba. The sons of the late Bapu Sahib Booty attended to the Utsava till 1914. And since 1941, the Sansthan has been attending to this Utsava. The sons of a Babu Sahib are now contributing ₹100 as a part of the expenses. The third Utsava of Gokulashtami has been entrusted to the villages of Shirdi, headed by Tatyaji Ganpat Rao Kote Patil, one of the ardent devotees of Sai Baba. The Shirdi people up to this day make it a point to make this Utsava successful. The last and the fourth Utsava, the Punyatithi Utsava, came to the entrusted to Sai Baba's devotees outside Shirdi, especially to those on the Bombay side, and up to this day, this Utsava has been also attended to with all possible zeal and devotion all around. Be it said in passing that the present permanent fund of the Sansan has been started from the savings of the collections of the spontaneous contributions for the first Bahan Bandara on the 13th day after Sai Baba's Samadhi in 1918. On account of the very scrupulous care bestowed on it from the very start by the late Kaka Sahib Dikshit, the first Honorable Secretary, and the late Anna Sahib Dabholkar, the first Honorable Treasurer, continued by the successors in office, the permanent fund is somehow able to meet the annual cost of the maintenance of the Sansthan. And it is up to the devotees to see that the fund is adequate to keep the steadily expanding Sansthan satisfactorily cared for. Sai Leela, originally a monthly magazine containing inner alas Sai Baba Leelas, as manifest from the countless experiences of the mass of devotees, was at the start so ably managed by the aforesaid devotees, two devotees, Mrs. Dikshit and Dabholkar, that for some time it proved to be gaining concern of the Sansthan. Later on, this publication, for manifold reasons, dwindled down to be losing concern so much so that the Sansthan has to remain contented, so much so that for the time being, by making it quarterly issue. It is at present managed by the subcommittee appointed for the same. The nebulous legacy by the will in favor of the Shirdi Sansthan made by the late Damodar Ghanshyam alias Anna Chinchanikar of over three-fourths of the estate, which has been entirely in the clutches of the creditors, would have had to be rejected with thanks as useless and gratuitous worry and bother to the Sansthan. But for the Herculean efforts from the start of the Mr. B.V. alias Baba Sahib Deo, who almost alone and unaided has been devoting his vast personal influence in the locality, Chinchini in the Dahanu Taluka, his precious time and energy in converting almost a hopeless and losing concern into a one which may eventually, after great and strenuous efforts, prove to be of benefit to the Sansthan to the tune of about 10,000 or so. Bala Sahib Deo sincerely considers this work as a worship of Sai Baba. Now to revert to the Ramanavami Utsav, the management of this Utsav from the beginning was looked after the Tatya Ganpat Patil Kote. He was a great pet of Sri Sai Baba. From Tatya used to call Mama, that is uncle. Tatya's mother, the late Baijabai, rendered devout service to the Sai Baba, and that too at a time when most of the villagers considered Sai Baba as a madman. Sai Baba went to the villages for alms, bhiksha 4 or 5 times a day, but Baijabai would never send him away unserved. Of course, Baijabai herself did get the benefit of her said devotion, and also the whole of the family was thereby benefited, and especially her son Tatya, who not only got money from the Sai Baba but was being fondled by Sai Baba in many ways, exactly a nephew. Respectively, Tatya looked after the management both of the masjid and chawdi. Sai Baba never arose for chawdi until Tatya came and held him by the hand and made him get up. And Tatya took Sai Baba by the hand, made the seat, and then made Sai Baba sit on it, and then prepared the chillam. This was a settled routine. At the time of the Ramanavami fair, that is the Ramanavami day itself, two huge flags were taken in gorgeous procession to the masjid, where these were fastened at the two corner tops. One of them came from the late Shankar Rao Raghunath Deshpande alias Nanasaheb Nimonkar, and the other from the Damushet Kasar of Nagar. Nimon is a village in the Sangamner Taluka. Nana Sahib was a honorable magistrate and was considered as one of the leading men in the taluka. He did magistrate work for many years, which he gave up on account of old age. He sometimes visited his uncle at Shirdi and took Sai Baba's darshan. At the desire of the uncle, gradually Nana Sahib's faith in Sai Baba increased so much that the last 3 months he spent in the service of Sai Baba incessantly, day and night. He left Sai Baba only for his daily bath, worship, and food. During the rest of the time, he dedicated himself to the service of Sai Baba. Although he was past 60 years, he never desired for any rest away from Sai Baba. He called him by the name Kaka. He did not live long after Sai Baba. By Sai Baba's grace, he had a calm end. He was no mindful of Baba, but that he saw Sai Baba everywhere. Whenever anyone approached him, Nana Sahib said, "Welcome Sai Baba." To his wife, he said the same, "Welcome Sai Baba." Thus, his wife thought that he was a delirious or getting unconscious, and therefore replied to him that she was not Baba but his wife. To this, Nana Sahib replied, "Who is within you?" Of course, Baba. Who are Sai Baba? In this way, Nana Sahib remembered Sai Baba right up to his end. The second bunting flag of a Ram Navami came from the late Damodar Savla Ram, alias Damu Shet Kasar. As said before, although he had three wives, he had no son, and therefore he was very sad once Govindrao Sapkar, the father-in-law of Madhura Deshpande, suggested to him that he should go to Shirdi and get Sri Saibaba benediction. He did accordingly and got a son. He confirmed his faith in Sai Baba, and since then he commenced to bring a flag on Ramnami Day and to feed the fakirs there on that day. He has kept doing this up to this day. A few years before Ramnami Utsav was started, Sai Baba had attracted to himself a devotee by name Narayana Govind alias Nanasaheb Chandurkar. He was a resident of Kalyan and at that time of chiefness of a collector of Ahmednagar. To him, one day Keshav Anant alias Appa Kulkarni of Shirdi said that Sai Baba had called him. At first, Nana Sahib did not believe Appa and told him, "Why do you take Sai Baba's name? Tell me frankly what you want from me." At this, when Appa assured Nana Sahib that the letter was really called by Sai Baba, Nana Sahib came to take Sai Baba's darshan and very soon became a staunch devotee of Sai Baba. He repeatedly visited Sai Baba and benefited himself by Baba's ambrosial advice during their sittings, which at times went on for hours. Together at such sittings, Nana Sahib was convinced about Sri Sai Baba's mastery over the Sanskrit language. Nana Sahib's devotion to Sai Baba was very great indeed. For two things, Nana Sahib will be ever remembered by the other devotees of Sai Baba. The first is that he got rebuilt and extended the old dilapidated masjid. As he himself had no time, so Nana Sahib Nimonkar, at the former's request, undertook to supervise the work personally and carried it out excellently. Permissions for starting the work was obtained from Sai Baba through Mahalsapati. Although permissions had been given, yet when the work was going on, Sai Baba used to pull down the work and large heavy stones and other heavy buildings implements were hurled away by him from time to time. In this manner the work was pushed through. These acts of Sai Baba may appear strange to outsiders, but those who had been in closer touch with Sai Baba will feel convinced that Sai Baba never did anything without any good reason. At last, the work of the masjid was completed, and on the day it was so completed, Sai Baba had gone to Nimgaon. He was brought from there in procession from music, bands, etc., and ushered in state into the new Masjid Dwarka Mai. In the construction of the new masjid, the three carpenter brothers, Kondaji, Gabaji, Tukaram, proved out of the greatest use, and after the construction the management of the masjid continued with these three brothers from for many years. This Kondaji died afterwards. The Gabaji and Tukaram are still living. Up to the end of the Sai Baba's life, the sweeping of the masjid, the cleaning of the Shri's utensils, the heating of the water, and the serving the same for washing Shri's mantha, etc., was done by Tukaram. Sai Baba, as a rule, would not allow these things to be done by anybody else. Up to now, the flag procession, the Ram Navami days start from the house of these carpenters. The second great thing which the late Nana Sahib Chandurkar did was the information he spread broadcast about the benevolent and marvelous deeds of Saibaba and thereby gave the benefit of Saibaba's benediction or to people at large. After being a chitness, Nana Sahib was Mamladar and then a district deputy collector, and as such, he had to tour through large areas. During such tours, wherever he went, he never failed to sing the songs very devotionally of Sai Baba and others, incited urgent desire amongst his audience to take the benefit of Sai Baba's darshan. Nana Sahib was the cause of the benefit of the darshan to the late Kaka Sahib Dikshit, Honorable Hari Sitaram Dikshit, LLB, JP, or Solicitor of Bombay, as also to the thousands of people from Bombay and the district for attracting the attention of the Bombay people. Besides Nana Sahib, two other persons also were instrumental. One of them is Hari Bhakta Parayan Ganesh Dattatreya Sastra Buddhe alias Das Ganu Maharaj. He was at time in the police department and was very fond of tamasha. Through Nana Sahib, he came to take Sai Baba's darshan and gradually became so much attached to Sai Baba that he left service, and by publishing his devotional books, pothis, and through his public kirtans, commenced to advertise far and wide the name, fame, and spiritual worth of Sai Baba. This is Gasganu's career up to the present day, a career which has now elevated him so far that he is one of the leading Kitankar Varkaris of Pandharpur. Well known for his entertaining histories of ancient saints and other works both in prose and poetry, and disciple of Sai Baba who chants not only in Shirdi and Pandharpur but also amongst the thousands of devotees of Sri Sai Baba. Modern Bhakta Leela Amrit, Sant Katha Amrit, Bhakti Sa Amrit, his commentaries in poetry on Isha and on the Amruta Anubhava of Shri Dhaneshwar Maharaj and Shri Shankaracharya's Chaitra in 1942 are among these principal productions. Nana Sahib brought Das Ganu to Bombay and gave the large public of Bombay the benefit of Das Ganu's inspiring and attractive kirtans, where the hearts of the audience were captured wholesale by listening to the saintly and miraculous fame of Sai Baba. This brought about an incident stream of visitors to Shirdi from Bombay and the surrounding country far and wide since the year 1910 AD. The other person was the late Kaka Sahib Dikshit, the Honorable Mr. Hari Sitaram Dikshit, from whose sketch of Sai Baba in Marathi, this sketch in English has been attempted. This Kaka Sahib about this time 1910 began insistently to stay in Shirdi and at the feet of his master Sai Baba. He was thus out of the public life of Bombay, and many of these friends were, when well-wishers, worldly as they were, published in the papers that Dikshit had become a buva, that is aesthetic, and therefore many went to Shirdi to see who it was that caused such a change in Mr. Dikshit. When the late Nana Sahib first came to Shirdi, there was no place for the visitors to stay in it, but this want was soon removed. The late Rao Bahadur Hari Vinayak Sathe was a deputy collector in the district. Since many years, his first wife was dead, and he had no wish as he was over 50 years to get remarried. But as he had no male issue, his friends were after him to get remarried. At last, he decided that he would go to Shirdi and do as the Sai Baba would advise. He came to Shirdi and Baba advised him to get married again and said he would get a son. The Rao Bahadur selected a girl and informed her father, the late Ganesh Damodar Kelkar, The girl should be shown to Saibaba. According when Kelkar brought the girl to Saibaba, the latter put a melon in her oti lap and applied kumkum to her head. Shortly after the marriage took place at the desire of Sai Baba. Rao Bahadur Sati built a big vada by purchasing land surrounding the aforesaid neem tree. This vada built by the late Rao Bahadur Sate had been purchased on 30th September 1924 by the late R.S. Navalkar, B.A. LLB Advocate O.S. Bombay, Mr. V.N. Gorakshakar, who is now one of the five lives trustees of the Sansthan, with great efforts successfully induced the heirs of the late R.S. Navalkar to make a gift of the Said Wada to the Shirdi Sansthan in 1939. On the Said Wada, the Shirdi Sansthan in 1941 built a structure containing four double rooms for the use of the devotees of Saibaba as per the rules made there. For 3 years later, Saibaba got another Wada built by Kakasaheb Dikshit, thus providing for some accommodation for the devotees staying for made to stay in Shirdi. Because it was a few years later, Srimanta Gopalram Mukund alias Bapu Sahib Bhuti of Nagpur built a Baba's instance a third Wada. This is a Blackstone mansion, the like of which may not be found in the whole of the taluka, costing over a lakh of rupees. This contains Shri's Samadhi. This Bapu Sahib Bhuti was a permanent resident of Shirdi ever since 1910 AD, as it is over a quarter of the century since Bhuti Wada was constructed. In instance in need of extensive repairs to preserve the same from natural deterioration. It remains to be seen how Sai Baba is going to solve this problem of the Sansan. After the building of the first Vada, Shirdi began to get the appearance of the Sansthan. Sai Maharaj allowed to his devotees to perform his aarti, and all the paraphernalia of the stately worship gradually began to come into evidence. The Chowdi was richly decorated with mirrors, hanging lamps, pictures, etc., and the procession of the Chowdi assumed a very stately appearance with the sweet music, bhajan, a horse, and a palanquin, chopper, jobdas, etc., accompanying the procession, and nothing could surpass the manifest divinity in Sai Baba's expression. When he made a halt of about 5 minutes in front of the Chowdi, looking towards the sky and making signs with his right hand before the procession entered the Chowdi. Indeed, a sight celestial for the worldly mortals to see. The doors of both the masjid and the Chowdi were covered with the mosaic tiles, etc., and the entire credit of all this splendor is wholly due to the late Sundarabai, Shri Sagas alias Radha Krishna Bai. She was a devout devotee of Baba, to whom she had dedicated her mind and efforts, as she had no money of her own, and she made all efforts to import splendor into the Sansthan through such of all the several rich devotees as could be influenced by her sweating services in token of her devotion to Sai Baba. She was a great organizer during her 8 or 9 years stay in Shirdi, where she died at the age of 35. In the lifetime of Sai Baba, she never spared herself to add worldly grandeur to the daily curriculum of the saint, who nevertheless would not be distracted and deluded from the enjoyment of his own grandeur within himself by these outward shows. But whatever Radha Krishna did in 9 years in transforming the rural aspect of Shirdi into an urban one, others would not be able to achieve in the quarter of a century. She was a woman of the resolute will and assertive temperament. It was she who introduced the night Shej Aarti and the Kakad Aarti in Chavdi. By her death, the Sansthan is deprived of a splendid caretaker of the Sansthan property. The But as wonderful are the ways of Sai Baba, he has graced the Sansthan with another lady full of vairagya and selfless in the persons of Mrs. Janki Bai Tambe alias Srimati Sai Mai, daughter of the late Purushottam Sakharam alias Balasaheb Bhate, a devotee of Baba, who is admiringly filling up the gap created by the demise of Radha Krishna. This Saimai has dedicated all her movable and immovable property to the Sansthan by the deed of settlement dated 2nd of January 1943. Not only this, but her office in the Sansthan as a Bhojan Sevika she had been discharging with wonderful zeal, promptitude, and a care worthy of admiration. She has been often found to be doing good her work unmindful of her own health, and she believes that the service of the Sansthan is the service to the Sai Baba. So, in spite of all odds, the credit of the satisfactory management of the Bhojan Graha, which is exclusively meant for the benefit of the devotees of Sai Baba, goes to her. But for her strenuous efforts, it would not be possible for the Sansthan to maintain any Bhojan Graha at all. The Sansthan committee therefore prays to Sai Baba to see that this lady is duly assisted by all the concerned in her aforesaid services of Sai Baba. श्री सच्चिदानंद सदगुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय। श्री सच्चिदानंद सदगुरु साई करुणानंद महाराज की जय। श्री सच्चिदानंद सदगुरु जगत गुरु बाल विग्रह साई नारायण महाराज की जय। साई लीलावती माता की जय। ओम साई राम।